Miss Cecelia. We are going to talk about her journey here at the Spa West Ashley. Her journey actually today started exactly 9 months ago. I'm going to have you tell us what brought you to the Spa West Ashley.
My daughter had been having Botox injections here, and I had had a few filler treatments over the years and wanted more filler treatments, and came to the people doing filler here at the Spa West Ashley. I had good results. I had a lot of bags under my eyes. The filler helped to ameliorate those. But I found that in the early summer of 2023 that I couldn't stand looking at myself in the mirror, because the face that looked back at me didn't look like the vibrant, active, energetic person that I was. I hated looking in the mirror, and I wanted to do something about that. So I talked to Heidi and do I need more filler? And she said, no, it's time for a new product for you. It was excellent. Heidi recommended that I have 3 Sculptra treatments and said that the benefit of Sculptra is that instead of just being a filler, it was a product that would encourage collagen growth. And that's what my face needed, because we're all losing collagen from our late 20s on. So she said, we'll do 3 treatments. She took a picture of me before the first treatment that we did in early August of 2023, because she wanted a bench line to compare as we went forward. The treatment went very well. There was no downtime for me in there. There was no blistering, no redness. It was just great. I stayed out of the sun the rest of that day, and then I was off and running afterwards. That's very interesting, because Heidi had made it clear that I shouldn't look for any significant results until after the 3rd Sculptra treatment. So Chris asked me, had you noticed anything? And I said, no. Remember, I hate to look in a mirror. And Heidi said there won't be much of a change. Well, Chris took a picture and she showed me the before and after, and I went, whoa, because there were some significant noticeable changes. I was really ready to do my 2nd Sculptra treatment after seeing the before and after photos. The Fraxel treatment was very interesting, very good, and Amanda is a consummate pro with that. She numbed me to a fare-thee-well in that first treatment, and then she said, let's go, had me hop up on the table, protected my eyes, and the treatment was over before I knew it had started. In fact, I jokingly asked her, have you done it? She said, yeah, I have. I felt nothing on my face during the treatment itself. The laser adds a lot of heat to your face, so Amanda put a biomask on me to help to cool that heat down right there. She made sure that I had cool packs in case the heat persisted for a while I was driving home. Gave me some excellent hydrating cream and a healing cream, and sent me on my way. When I got home, the heat was still pretty fierce from the laser, and I was wondering if it would start to diminish. And all of a sudden, it was like someone flipped a switch and the heat just disappeared. There it was, and there it wasn't. So it was very easy. For the rest of that first day, someone described it as kind of a sunburn, and it wasn't that for me. It was more of almost a windburn, like I'd been at the beach and the heat of the wind had been blowing up my face strong all day. And Amanda had said if my face felt dry to liberally use the hydrating cream, and I did, and it took care, and it was absolutely great. My face was a bit reddish, but nothing untoward, so I had a very easy day of it. I had a very easy time of it, actually. The second day, the redness had diminished. I was able to put on sunscreen, go out and do errands. On the 3rd day, when I put foundation on, I suddenly saw a checkerboard pattern on each cheek. And I called Amanda and said, what's going on? And she said, that's the grid that the laser laid down. So I found if I didn't have foundation on, you didn't see the grid. The next 2 nights in the shower, skin started to peel, which Amanda had told me to watch for. Not big pieces coming off, just little bits. But after the 2nd night in the shower, all the peeling was done. And on the 5th full day after laser, my skin was the softest to touch it had been probably in 50 years. And the color of my skin was no longer this gray beige tone, but instead was pink and healthy looking. And that for me was really a headline. The other 2 Fraxel treatments went exactly the same as the first with respect to the downtime and the healing. It was as if my face was reading the script and following the script. The one thing that was different was that during the 2nd treatment, Amanda had told me she was going to be just a bit more aggressive. And I could feel the laser that day, just a bit of stinging here and there. Nothing bad, but at least I could feel it. But the minute she stopped doing the laser treatment that day, that stinging stopped, nothing else. Well, I certainly recognized, not because I stood all day long and looked in the mirror, but because after the first laser treatment, before the second, and before then the third laser treatment, Chris took photographs, and she would show me the initial photograph with that. And when she showed me each time, she had tears in her eyes when she said, "Seal, you don't realize how profound the changes in your face are." But looking at the photos, I could see, because my cheeks had been hollowed out and suddenly they'd filled in again. It was like replacing a divot on a golf course. There was hyperpigmentation, some of which had just disappeared completely. Other places that were dark had lightened considerably. So I could see, based on those photos especially, that dramatic, excellent changes had taken place in my skin and my face. Well, my daughter was very tuned in because she was doing Botox here and she knew the procedure and was watching the procedure carefully. And after each treatment of Sculptra and laser, she looked and said, "Mom, your face is looking amazing," and I knew she really meant it. Several women who board horses at my horse farm also knew I was doing something but weren't quite clear what was going on, and they said, "We don't know what you're doing, but it's really working. Your face looked great." But the headline is my husband. He is oblivious most of the time to most things unless you hit him between the eyes. And one night at dinner after the second Sculptra treatment, I noticed he was staring very intently at my face. And I wondered if I had food dribbling down part of my mouth. And I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "Your face." And I said, "What?" He said, "It looks amazing." He said, "Is this a result of all these treatments you're going and doing?" I said, "Without a doubt, yes. All these treatments you volunteered to pay for are really paying off." And he said, "They're worth every penny I'm spending and then some." He was very impressed. So if he noticed, guys, that's a headline. The most noteworthy things that collagen had obviously been produced and filled in those sunken parts of my face, and that was great. The wrinkles had been mitigated. Hyperpigmentation had either disappeared or was very much lightened. But the best thing for me was that the gray beige color of my face was gone. All the old dead skin cells had been shed away, and I had healthier cells and vibrant blood flow giving me that pink tone. And that was one of the best things that happened. My comfort level was extremely high because I knew that the 3 women involved in my care were experienced, licensed professionals. I had no trouble whatsoever committing my care to these women. The 2 women who did the injections had done them on me before. They're excellent at that. Amanda is a pro with the laser. She has much experience, knows how to use a Fraxel dual laser. I did not have the first concern in committing to that treatment with the staff here at Spa West Ashley. As you can see from the photos, the initial photo and then the ones going along, this was a very successful treatment for me. It was very easy for me. There was very little downtime. I would recommend that you speak carefully with your skincare professional about doing this and see what that person thinks is good for you. If that person recommends it, I would recommend giving it a go. It was very successful. If your skincare professional recommends something else, make sure whatever is recommended is right for you and you're comfortable with it. The one thing I would recommend is that you not get in a hurry. Don't expect to be able to do a one and done, one Sculptra treatment, one laser treatment. I think that the fierceness of those individual treatments might be a little bit too much for skin to handle. I did not mind waiting for 9 months. It was worth the wait, as you can see from my photos. And it was exciting to think from treatment to treatment what it might look like the next time. So I did not mind the wait. I feel that it was very worth the wait. In undergoing this Sculptra with laser treatment, I was not trying to look like a 25-year-old. I am 77 years old and I'm very comfortable with that. But my face did not reflect the vibrant, energetic woman that I am, with that gray beige color and with the sunken cheeks and with all of the hyperpigmentation and all of the wrinkles. My confidence level is back to where it used to be before my face got to looking that way, and I am extremely grateful for having undergone this journey. It's worth $1 million to me.